we have to identify the key features of the function, and then we're going to graph. So identifying the key values, the a value is 2, the b value is -8, and the c value is 5. So beginning with the concavity is determined by the a value. Since we have a positive 2, since the a value is positive, we have concave up. The y-intercept, if we have a quadratic in standard form, we can get the y-intercept by getting the coordinate 0, c, and the c value here is positive 5. So the y-intercept is 0, 5. Now to get the x-intercepts, I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So I have the outline right here. X equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I am going to plug in my values. So here I have -8 because my b is -8 plus or minus the square root of -8 squared minus 4 multiplied by the a value, which is 2, and the c value, which is 5. And we're going to divide all of this by 2 times a. A again, that's going to be 2 here. So simplifying a little bit, the negative make a positive, so I get positive 8 plus or minus the root of -8 squared, which is 64. And then we're going to subtract 4 times 2 times 5, so 4 times 2 is 8. If we multiply 5, that'll give me a 40. And 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so now I'm left with 8 plus or minus and 64 minus 40. That's going to leave me with a 24. And we're going to divide this by 4. The 24, I'm going to get its prime factorization so that I can reduce or simplify the radical. So here we get 12 times 2. And then the 12, I can rewrite it as 4 times 3. And then here I have 2 times 2. Now that I have the prime factorization, I can write this as x equal to 8 plus or minus. Here I have a pair of 2's, so I get 2 radical 3 times 2, 6, all over 4. Next, I notice that the 8 and the 2 have a greatest common factor of 2, so I'll factor that out. So I get x equal to 2, 4 plus or minus root 6, all over 4. The 2 and the 4 reduce to 1/2. So my exact solution, x equal to 4 plus or minus square root of 6, all over 2. Okay, next I am going to calculate the axis of symmetry, and we can do that by calculating -b over 2a. So my b value is -8, so here we have -8 divided by 2 times a, which is 2. So we get 8 divided by 4, which gives us a 2. So the axis of symmetry is going to be 2. And then for the vertex, we just got to plug in 2 into the equation. Everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace it by a 2. So we get y equal to 2 multiplied by 2 squared minus 8 multiplied by 2, and then we're going to add a 5. So this is going to equal to 2 multiplied by 2 squared is 4. We're going to subtract 8 times 2, which is 16, and then we're going to add 5. So y equals 8 minus 16 plus 5. 8 minus 16 is -8, and then if we add 5, we're going to get a -3. And I get that the vertex will be the axis of symmetry, which is +2, along with what we just solved for y, -3. We are now ready to graph this since we have all of the key features. And notice that because we're going to graph, we're going to need the exact values for the x-intercepts, and I believe that I only gave you the exact answers. So let's go ahead and calculate those very quickly. I recorded each x-intercept separately, and the first one is going to evaluate to 3.22, and the other one is going to be approximately 0.78. So now that we have the exact values, we can begin to graph. So I'm going to make use of the y-intercept first. So 0, 5. So 0, 5, we gotta begin at the origin, and then we're going to go up 5 units. So that's going to land us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. That is the y-intercept, and actually I'm going to change to black here. Okay, so now let's go back here and let's graph the x-intercept. So 0.78 and 3.22. We're going to have to use our best judgment to graph those ones. But here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more here. And I changed to red. But again, the x-intercepts, I'm going to begin with 0.78. So 0.78 is going to be a little bit more than a half here. So I'm going to put it somewhere right there. And then the second x-intercept is 3.22. So we're going to go to 3. So 1, 2, 3. And 0.22 has to be a little bit less than half. So somewhere around there. Okay, next I'm going to want to graph the vertex. So the vertex is 2, -3. So I'm going to go to 2. So 1, 2, and then go down 1, 2, 3. I'm going to plot that point. And here I'll draw the axis of symmetry so that I can reflect the y-intercept. So here we can see that the y-intercept is 2 distances away from the axis of symmetry. So to reflect it to the other side, it also has to be 2 distances away from the axis of symmetry. So here we have the reflection point, and now we have a nice sketch for the parabola.